when I see the atrocities, and the crimes against humanity that is going on every day in my country, when I see young people being killed for their, expressing their opinions or writing songs or singing or saying something against the regime, they're put into jail and they're being killed. I cannot stay indifferent. How can I, say that I sing for you, but when you have pain, I'm not with you. You see, we have to, we have to, we have to be involved, and we have to offer our services in whichever way we can.
This is a special edition of Roqe, the Uprising, 1 year later. Let's go to Washington, D.C. now for my next guest. And he is an Iranian musical icon with a career spanning several decades, marked by numerous hit songs and albums. Faramarz Aslani is an acclaimed, beloved, and respected Iranian-American singer, songwriter, and guitarist, renowned for his poetic lyrics and melodic compositions. But beyond his musical achievements, he has consistently used his platform to advocate for a free Iran and raise awareness about human rights issues in the country, including many public appearances over the course of the last year. And right now, Faramarz Aslani joins me from Washington, D.C. Hello, sir.
Good day to you, Jian, and to all your listeners and people who watch us on this day. I'm very happy to be with you.
Thank you so much, Faramarz John, for being part of this special. You've been very active this year, not just sitting behind a screen and social media, but turning up and speaking and marching at rallies and demonstrations and actions. It's been an epic year for Iranians inside Iran and around the world. What are you feeling 1 year after the killing of Mahsa Amini and the onset of this historic uprising?
To be honest with you, Jian, I'm quite optimistic. You see, in the past year, we've had big and small wins, both internationally and within the country. We must remember that 44 years of power will not go overnight. It takes time and unity. First and foremost, unity, and that is very important. Fortunately, in the past 10 years, the frequency of the uprisings have increased, starting with the Green Movement, and then with the burning of the headscarves and uprising against forced hijab. And then, of course, last year with the tragedy of Mahsa Jina Amini. They have all helped, to add momentum to this movement.
So to those who say they're heartbroken or they've given up hope because the movement seems to have lost steam and people have been detained and there are no longer millions in the streets and in fact we're on the precipice of another deal between the U.S. and Iran and this regime. What you say? What?
You see, there seems to be a lull in the movement, but it is well and alive, and it's going on. Especially outside of Iran, in the different cities of the world, especially in Washington D.C., which has been since Mahsa's killing, it has been regularly gathering every week, every Saturday, and that has been quite important as far as our unity goes and the cause, and gaining attention of the world media. That has been very important. And of course, against the dealings that you mentioned, we have also, raised our voices against that and let the world know that, we do not agree with what's going on, as far as you said, the dealings with the country. Yeah.
One doesn't want to sit back and look at things as if things are over or we've stopped and we're restarting. The uprising continues, as you say. It's a
Yeah.
there's ups and downs, there's lulls, but given that we're in this moment, this precipice of the 1 year anniversary of the killing of Mahsa, which is a point of inflection, it gives us an opportunity for reflection, if you will,
Yes.
and look back and kind of look at the year. So, in doing so, if you were to say there's a lesson or some lessons you think we have
Mhm.
learned as a global Iranian
Yeah.
community in the year after the killing of Mahsa Amini, what would be amongst them? What's something you think we can? What's a takeaway for us?
The most important lesson, I think, was that as a nation, we can unite and get behind one cause. When you have one cause and one goal, which of course is freedom for Iran and the Iranians and the removal of the Islamic Republic, you have that cause and you get behind that. And that's been quite significant. That's been a great lesson that we did that, we achieved that. Different opinions, different ideologies, politically, sociologically, we've had all kind of opinions under one umbrella and to unite behind one cause. And that has been quite significant and a great lesson.
But how are we doing with that? I mean, it does feel like we've experienced the exhilaration of unity, certainly last fall, this global sense of togetherness, and then some deflation of disunity as a community over the last few months. Many would argue. You're not a stranger to the nature of the Iranian disposition. I mean,
Course, yeah.
how do you believe? Again, what's our takeaway in terms of how we foster that unity, how we have to interact with each other to somehow bring this togetherness rather than carping at each other or different leaders of the opposition or whatever it may be?
As I said, it is very important, to put aside our differences, our personal differences. The most important thing is, to get together with one cause and one goal in mind. That is quite important. There has been, different factions which don't agree with one another, but we have to, they have to unite. If we have fortunately, we have a society which has great, important, talented people, and in all different parts of the society, they can they can get together and people can unite behind them. That is a fortunate thing for us, and I think that the most important thing is to put aside our differences, to unite and put aside our differences. That is the most important thing that can happen.
It doesn't seem like it's an easy thing for Iranians to do.
No, it isn't, because we tend to waver, but we have to come under the same umbrella and stand behind the same cause.
A final question to you, and a personal question. And it's been somewhat exhilarating, actually, watching you this year inject yourself personally, physically into the movement. I talked about you turning up at these rallies and demonstrations and speaking out. Nobody would blame you if you just offered some tweets or said something on Instagram or whatever. Tell me about the decision you've made to be so personally involved in the uprising and the activism.
You see, I am part of that society. I mean, we are the same people. How can I differ? How can I not get affected, by what happens? When I see the atrocities, and the crimes against humanity that is going on every day in my country, when I see young people being killed for their, expressing their opinions or writing songs or singing or saying something against the regime, they're put into jail and they're being killed. I cannot stay indifferent. How can I, say that I sing for you, but when you have pain, I'm not with you. You see, we have to, we have to be involved, and we have to offer our services in whichever way we can.
And you again, it's always such a pleasure to talk to you, such an honor to have you on the program. You started things by answering this question to a certain extent, but if I were to say, compared to this time last year, how are you on the spectrum of optimism around the fight for change and democracy and freedom in Iran?
Quite high. It is something that it is inevitable. It will happen sooner or later, because people want it. And we outside of Iran, we must unite. We must be with the same cause, same goal in mind. Again, forget about our differences, stay focused, and be the voice of the people inside of Iran. We can get inside the streets here, and shout, our displeasure, and nobody will arrest us and nobody will harm us. But that is not the case in Iran. So we have to be their voices outside of Iran. And it is heartwarming to see that no matter what, rain or shine, people will get together in different parts of the world and cry for freedom.
Dearest Faramarz Aslani, thank you so much for this. I know you were fighting a bit of a cold today, and yet you still want to soldier on and do this. You're such a gentleman. Thank you so much for
I
this.
hope I was focused enough with the problem I have with this cold, but thank you so much for having me. And Zan Zendegi Azadi, woman, life, freedom. Let's work towards that unity, and long live the young people who are supporting this cause.
Merci. Hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Merci, Elisa.